Hey, what's up, C-Maniac Nation? C-Man, fresh out the AMC here at Lincoln Square in New York City in the IMAX. After seeing Superman for the 4th time, I am loving this movie. And while this movie doesn't take the full IMAX aspect ratio, it is bigger than any screen I've seen it on, and I must say, it hits so well on the biggest screen you could possibly see this thing on, especially the flying sequences. Like, they are just so marvelous and magnetic and just enjoyable, and the bigger the screen, the better the scene, as I always say. But we're gonna go a little spoiler heavy in this review and just talk about some of the things that have really stood out to me the more and more I watch this movie. And the first and foremost is the way Gunn handles how Superman just won't let people die. It's one of these things where, love it or hate it, when you look at Zack Snyder's Superman, like, they level half of Metropolis and lots of people die. And when you get into the kaiju sequence in this movie, you watch Superman go out of his way to either make sure the kaiju doesn't fall into a building, or if, like, something happens where there are people around, he looks behind him, stops what he's doing, and goes, hey, is everybody all right? Like, thumbs up. And that's some of the corny stuff that Superman does that's just, like, it hits in all the right ways. And that's the thing that I love, is just how honest and genuine he is, and will go out of his way to save a dog, save a squirrel, save a person about to, you know, have something fall on top of them, you know, or the little girl. Like, that whole kaiju sequence is so good. And whether he's saving people or animals, or even trying to save the kaiju, like, Superman has this innate internal feeling of just like, I can't let anything die. And the fact that he didn't want the kaiju to get killed, it just speaks so highly to him. And then when you see the other heroes, like Mr. Terrific kills the kaiju, Hawk Girl drops the president of Baravia out of the sky. Like, there are people who will do things differently, but Superman is as good as they come. And to watch him go out of his way, especially in that scene, to make sure people are okay, just hits so hard. And then it ties in perfectly in tandem to the finale. You know, the finale action set piece is so good. Like, I'd say from the time him and Terrific get crashed into the ballpark until the movie's pretty much over, like, look at that as the finale. And how Gunn builds it out so perfectly for Supes. Like, watching him fight Ultraman and the Engineer in that ballpark is just so satisfying. And again, anytime, well, not again, but the first time in this this review, anytime Ultraman is fighting Superman, I enjoy watching it, because you have Lex dictating everything he's doing. And how that works in the ballpark scene, how that works at the Hammer Baravia scene at the beginning of the movie, to how that works in the finale. Like, it's so good. But I love the fact that, again, it's just one of these story things. You're the writer. You can make anything happen. So what happens? We crash into an empty ballpark, and we have a fight there. Metropolis gets evacuated, so when the city starts to split apart, there's really no people there. And if he's fighting or crashing into things, it's not going to cause any harm to anybody. And I love that, like, as that rift is starting to spread apart while you're waiting for Ultraman to come back for round 2, you see, like, Superman fly to stop that building from landing on the one car that can't get out of the city. Like, everything he does is to ensure people are okay. And then when you get into that final fight with Ultraman in the rift, so to speak, it is so enjoyable. Like, watching Lex friggin' call every move and continue to beat Superman, and then to level that brain is better than brawn. Like, that is in All-Star Superman, and how Gunn chooses to adapt that at that moment is so enjoyable. And then to have Superman flipping, because while he's getting beat to a pulp, he sees suddenly all these cameras are always around Ultraman. Oh, you know what's funny? You're right, brain does beat brawn. Let me call my dog in, who loves to rip, like, it's one of those things where he remembers what Crypto does to the T-spheres in the Pocket universe, so he brings it back. Hey, Crypto, get the toy. And it's just so spot on. It allows him to open up and really level Ultraman. And the other reason I talk about that sequence, besides the CGI, I think looking fantastic, is I genuinely do think that we are going to see Ultraman come back, but as Bizarro. The idea of him going into a black hole could very well tee up a version of the character of Bizarro that comes from that Ultraman character, and that would be really freaking cool. And then it's really the thing that I think I love the most is the final dialogue between Superman and Lex, and seeing how much Lex can't stand him because he is an alien, and because he can do things that people can't do, it makes us lesser. and he can't stand for that. And to see the genius of Lex at work throughout the course of the whole movie, like when he's telling Ultraman what to do, it's like over 1,200 different combos, and he knows them all off the top of his head. Like, I love seeing that, but you see how that obsession right at the end really is his downfall, and how he can't see past anything that Superman is just an alien. And I love that Superman goes, that's where you've always been wrong about me. I'm as human as they come. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but I get up, I put one foot in front of the other, and that's what makes me human. That's my greatest strength. And I hope one day you see that that's your greatest strength too. And it's one of those things where it just encapsulates those two characters so perfectly and gives you a Superman win against a regular human after some dope action that makes so much sense. And yes, I think your sequel to this movie can be even more epic, and you bring in a being that is a legit force, and you might have a better vibe when it comes to the antagonist. But I think Gunn's execution of Lex in a Superman movie using Ultraman and the Engineer just creates really, really dope stuff, and it just is nothing but Superman. And again, especially on the big screen. And when you're talking about like Superman catching that building, there's a shot where he comes up out of the smoke and the dust, and he's just floating in the sky. Oh, it's so really gorgeous. But the more and more I watch this movie, the more and more it just flows so naturally. The pacing is really, really solid. And you just, like, I forget that that's 2 hours every time I go and see it. And you could have given me another half hour, because I would have loved more time with Lois. I cannot speak highly enough about Brosnahan and how, like, the look she has on her face when Superman is allowing her to interview him, which is one of my other favorite scenes in this movie. It is just so, like, excitement, but also, like, I get to be the best journalist I can be. And I love how that is just all over Brosnahan all the time. And whether she's doing things, you know, flying saucers, she's always being a journalist. Like, I love that you get to hear her dictate the beginning of the story that's going to take down Lex. And I think the only other thing that I haven't talked about is Crypto. It is so cool. I just continue. I think visually he looks stunning. I think he's used perfectly. And when you find out, big spoilers, at the end of the movie, when Supergirl comes crashing into the Fortress of Solitude, that it's her dog. And I love that she lets Clark basically dog sit when she goes to other planets with red suns, because the yellow sun metabolism can't get drunk, so she can go hammered and get a party. I cannot wait for this Supergirl movie. I think Millie Alcock looks fantastic, and the vibe already is just so good with her and Corin Sweat. And like I said, the stuff that's going on, like you see Crypto pounce on her and just bash her into the ground, and all the things that he was doing to Superman in the movie, you go, oh, that's where he gets it from. So I think everything in this movie is just spotless. The score, I mean, the amount of times the score just makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and how you transition into those John Williams chords, like, I am just loving Superman. Loved it on the biggest screen possible, and I'll definitely be seeing it some more. See, Maniac Nation, you look nervous. Is it the scars? Would you like to know where I got them? No? Well, then maybe you'd like to see another video with the Seaman. How about up here or over here? And if you really dig the Seaman, well, then show him a little love right over there.